Yo, what's going on, ladies and gents? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another video. Today we are once again back on Modern Warfare, and I wanted to share with you guys the best M4A1 class setup in the game. With the new update this morning, the M4 was actually nerfed a little bit, so hopefully we'll start seeing players use something other than the M4 every single game. But nonetheless, this video specifically, we are going to be looking at the best M4A1 class setup that you can possibly use. So without further ado, let's jump right into this class setup. So obviously we're using the M4A1. We're going to be running 5 attachments. We're not going to be running a muzzle. We're going to be using the Corvus Custom Marksman under barrel. What this does is give you damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. What you're sacrificing is aim down sight speed and movement speed. But if you guys take a look at the actual gun itself down in the bottom left corner, you'll see that we're getting accuracy, damage, range, and control all buffed with these attachments that we're using. The only thing we're going to be sacrificing is a tiny bit of mobility, which isn't a big deal with an assault rifle because obviously we're not going to be 100% bum rushing spawn like we were using in SMG. So it's okay to sacrifice a little bit of that mobility. But again, for the barrel, we're using that Corvus Custom Marksman. The optic, we're using the GI Mini Reflex, and this is more of a personal thing. You can kind of use whatever you want if you go through. Some of these sacrifice more than others mobility and control. Some give you higher range, obviously if you're using something like a variable zoom. But I'm a huge fan of the Mini Reflexes in the game, so that's what I'm going to be using for this class setup. You can kind of pick and choose whichever optic that you want to run. I'm not using a stock, not using a laser. The underbarrel, we're using a Commando foregrip, which is weird because that is the very first one that you get. We are not going to be using the last one. We're going to be using the first one because we're going to buff our accuracy, we're buffing range, and we're buffing control. This is actually one of the best attachments that you get early on in the game. So Commando foregrip is going to be a really good option to run. Obviously, our pros are recoil, stabilization, and aiming stability. Only thing we're sacrificing is the movement speed, which is what's going to knock down our mobility a tiny bit when we're done with the class setup. We're not going to be running any extra ammunition. Obviously, the M4's got enough. We've got enough per mag. It's fine. Rear grip, we're going to be using this stippled grip tape. We're going to improve aim down sight speed, sprint to fire speed, which is my favorite. Obviously, sprint to fire speed, it's going to help to win a lot more gunfights. And we are sacrificing a little bit of aiming stability, which is going to knock down your control. However, with our other attachments, we're actually buffing our control overall. So really not too big of a deal. And then perk-wise, we're using FMJ. I think FMJ is a really good thing to always run, especially with assault rifles. If you're shooting someone at a distance or you get in a gunfight through a building, if you're playing headquarters, it's nice to be able to shoot through walls or shoot through a door or shoot through a random object. So having that FMJ is nice. Obviously, it's going to buff your damage and help you to win a lot more gunfights. But anyway, guys, that is the class setup. Perk-wise, I am running Overkill. I like running the 7.25 shotgun that was actually just nerfed today, thank God. You can pretty much run it whatever attachment you want on that thing. I just like using the shotgun with the secondary for the M4 because I like to be really aggressive with the M4. So having that 7.25 as my backup when I'm in a headquarters or in a small room is actually really, really clutch. So obviously I'm using Overkill. I'm also using Ghost. I like to stay off the radar. It's really nice. And using Battle Hardened so that I can reduce the strength of enemy flash, stun, and EMP effects. That tends to happen a lot in this game, getting flashed, getting stunned. So having Battle Hardened is actually going to help you out a lot and keep you from not being able to see anything the entire game. I'm also using a frag grenade and a stun grenade. These really don't matter too much. I like using the frag a lot, so I think that would be good to go with this class setup. And I'm using a stun right now. This was for a specific challenge. I would recommend using a stun or a flash. I think both of these work really well. It kind of depends on what game mode you're playing. Playing a game mode like headquarters using the flash is nice because you're able to toss it in the HQ, blind everyone, run in and get your kills. So, you know, it kind of just depends on what game mode you're playing and how you feel about each one. But yeah, so I'd probably run flash over stun to be quite honest. But anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys did enjoy this class setup. If you guys have any questions or anything else to add, make sure to leave it down in the comment section below. I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see all you guys in the next video.